Boulder, Colorado, the capital of the state. Boulder has more of this than any place in the state so far. Not that I've been all around Colorado, but I'm pretty sure no other city or town has more people doing this than Boulder, Colorado. And hey, I worked and lived up in the Boulder area for almost 30 years before I moved down to Denver about 10 years ago, 12 years ago. And I like it down in Denver a whole lot better because there's a lot less places where this is required and a lot less people doing this. But in Boulder, man, I saw it everywhere. I saw people outside doing it, walking outdoors doing it. All the stores require it. This is a Boulder County mandate that everybody must do this if you're indoors anywhere. It's a requirement by Boulder. It's not a state thing. The governors relaxed that back in early January. But Boulder, it's called the People's Republic of Boulder for a reason. It's very left-wing, very politically correct in everything, you know, just to the point of absurdity, to being obnoxious. I used to identify with the liberal causes back years ago, but man, I got off that bandwagon, especially now that's associated with the Democrats, which are anything but liberal. They're just pea-brained neo-Nazis almost, or communists, whichever one you want to pick. They do a little bit of both. They kind of pick from the Nazis and the communists in their enforcement of silly rules like this. And today I went up to see a friend of mine at a store called Albums on the Hill, and went downstairs, and of course he's got this on, and I have mine like this. You know, I walk in, he doesn't even recognize me. I stood there like this. I figured my face, you know, he could still tell it was me because I've known the guy for 30 years. And he stood there and said he did not know who I was, even with my voice, you know. And so I told him, Ben Patterson. And he's like, oh, Ben, I would have never recognized you. I said, yeah, not with this on, you wouldn't. Even like this, you couldn't. And he said, Ben, would you put it up over your nose, please? And I said, no. And I was ready to leave and just not even talk to him. Not because I like the guy, I like Andy, but I was about to just walk and say, no, I won't spend a dime in your store if you tell me I have to put it up over here, like the Nazis over at the dispensary did last week. So Andy's a pretty nice guy, he's pretty cool. He says, oh, well, okay, because, I mean, his business isn't doing all that great. He's having some issues too with his health, and now I feel for the guy, and I wanted to shop in there and buy some product, help him. And I like his product. He has some good albums there, vinyl. I was shopping for vinyl. So I went inside, and we didn't talk much at that point. I went in, I picked out a bunch of albums, maybe 20 albums, 160 bucks, you know. I figured it was a nice little purchase for me and for his store. And when I went out, we talked a little bit, had a little discussion about it. I laid on him my beliefs about why this is really not a good idea at all, or this is not a good idea, or this, and you know, that's not a good idea for society at large or our economy or anybody on a personal level at all. He said, I disagree, and I said, that's fine. I didn't really want to hear his point of view because I knew exactly what he was going to say. I warned him about the forthcoming apocalypse in terms of the economy crashing big time, potentially this year at some point, and then potentially again another big crash in 23. I see this coming. I have an intuition. I also have insider information. So it's a good time now to be investing in gold, silver, real estate, something tangible. Stock up on dry goods, frozen foods, get a generator, get one of these, and just basically be ready for anything that's coming, for the internet to be shut down for a while. The whole grid, electricity may go down for a while. You know, it's not like I'm saying the sky is falling. The sky's still going to be up there, but humans, we could be in trouble. So then I go over to get a massage from a classmate I had just connected with on the phone a couple nights before. Didn't even know she was still in Boulder. We went to massage school together in 1982, 83, graduated together. I didn't go on and have a career in massage. I did other things, worked for the post office 30 years. So massage, kind of goodbye. I do self-massage still, as you know, and that's wonderful. It's a wonderful thing anybody can do for themselves. But she had a career as a rolfer and a massage therapist, and I was just really excited to connect with her again, come up to her house where she does her practice, get one of her beautiful massages, pay her whatever price she wanted. I was just thrilled. So I got there right on time. I opened the door, and this is how I'm greeted. Ben, you need one of these? And I said, no, thanks. I don't use those. Anywhere I'm not required, and I'm not required in your house. Oh, I am required. She says, yes, you are. You have to. I'll get one for you. I said, no, Donna, forget it. See ya. Sorry I made a trip all the way up to Boulder for nothing. Well, not nothing. I got to see Andy and get some albums. But that was kind of sad because I realized people in Boulder are like they're not using their brains. You know, give me one good reason why a healthy person, I'm healthy right now, got over my little illness I had a few months ago, perfectly healthy right now, putting out some good antibodies that I've got in my body from my natural immune system that's still intact, has not been defiled by this. So I'm not a GMO human like the people that got this are. They're GMO humans. And this is basically, I can't breathe. So when I went in the other stores in Boulder, which I shopped a little bit at a bookstore, and I went to Target, went to the health food store, I wore it like this pretty much. So when I talked to people in there, they could understand what I'm saying and I could breathe. And all it says is you have to have one of these on. It didn't say how you have to have it on. It just said you have to have one on your face. Well, that's technically it's on my face. I mean, you know, you could put it on up here if you wanted, I suppose. But I just think it's ludicrous to think that somebody who's healthy ought to be wearing one of these. Give me some logic. Why a healthy person wants to have this covering their face where you potentially are going to be suffocating or smothering yourself and inhaling your own carbon dioxide. Somebody who's sick, you know, basically shouldn't even be out. If you're sick, like I was a few months ago, I didn't go out. I didn't go out and wear one of these. I just didn't go out. I was sick. I stayed home. The one outing I went to my so-called medical doctor and was in there, sitting there wearing one of these, complaining about all my symptoms. I'm having trouble breathing, chest pains, coughing a lot, runny nose, fatigue, brain fog, a little chills, a little fever, a little times. Just feel awful, awful. Feel like I'm just about to bite the bullet, you know, and go. Maybe I want to. I feel so bad. So I'm pleading with her, do you want to test me for this thing that's going around they're talking about? Suggest anything I could do to help my symptoms? Her reply, no. That was it. No. Nothing. This is Highlands Health for Life on Tejon in Tejon, Tejon Street. Highlands Health for Life in Denver. Hillary Weingarth, physician's assistant. Up till then, you know, she had been fairly decent with me for most things I went in, like a wart on the toe, tried to burn it off, stuff like that. But this was ridiculous. I went in with the very illness that they're talking about in the news every day, and she says, no, we have nothing for you. Of course, I got over it. My immune system is strong. I got over it. Herbs, rest, steam, all kinds of things, you know, healthy things, vitamin C, zinc, you name it. You know, I did all the protocol, onion tea, that helped me eventually get over it. And I did quit smoking marijuana, cannabis, pot, weed, whatever you call it. Quit that for life. Quit using it for life after 41 years. That was a good move. But I just tell you folks, I think if somebody's sick and they're going outside, number one, that's a bad move. But one of these is unlikely to really prevent what you got being spread. It's going to go right through this thing, right through it, through the sides of it or through the holes. It's not going to stop it. Your best defense is to stay home. And, you know, the guy in the store, Andy, he asked me, well, when I had the thing, you know, he said, well, did you go to the hospital? Did you respirators and all that? I said, no, of course not. I had it twice. I had it right in the beginning when the whole thing came out, and I had it again a few months ago, or the variant or whatever. And I'm strong as a horse right now. So if anything, I'm breathing out antibodies that will be helping people. Wearing one of these is going to stop the antibodies. But here's where this is useful. For people that got this thing, they probably ought to be wearing one of these really tight, maybe 2 or 3 of them, to prevent the nasty spike protein coming out. I live with 2 housemates that have gotten this thing back in March and April. Thank God they didn't get the booster. And they're breathing out spike protein in my house every day. So I have to air it out. I've got the doors open right now. It's 20 degrees outside, but I got the doors open upstairs, the windows, to air it out, to get some of this spike protein out of the house. When it builds up in the house and we don't ventilate, I get all the symptoms coming back. The coughing, the runny nose, the sneezing, the tight throat. It's really awful. As soon as we air the house out again and I get away from them, I'm fine. I'm fine. So that's the news on Boulder. Boulder, if you go to Boulder, this is required everywhere you go. Apparently, people, last year in the summer, this was required outdoors on the outdoor Pearl Street Mall. This was required. I went out one day, I saw about 300 people out there. Everybody had one on except 2 other people and me. and I wouldn't put one on the whole day. No Nazis came up and told me I needed to have one on, so I just didn't wear it. I looked around and laughed at everybody that was so dumbed down that they think this is going to prevent something, this is going to keep us healthy. All this is doing is destroying our way of life. When you look at people, you can't even tell who they are. If they got a hat on, this is all you see. And number two, you can't hear people. It's like, what? What? I can't hear what you're saying. Folks, these things have little nanofibers in them. When you breathe, these things get into your lungs, into your brain, into your body. Not a good idea. If you're going to have to put one of these on, at least get a clean cloth one and one that's got some porous nature to it so you can breathe through it. Otherwise, not good for the health. Not good for the health. Okay, that's my final word today. This will probably be blocked. I don't care. I'm posting it anyway.